Why don't we encourage kids to learn? And I don't mean shoving a book in their face or giving them dozens of useless practice problems to remember. I mean really spark their curiosity to learn, so that when they get on that school bus and they go home, they'll want to return. We tell kids they're a failure if they don't reach a certain test score or grade, but in the real world, those numbers fade. I mean, I can't even remember half of the things I've learned my first 11 years of school, and it's not because I'm stupid or a failure. It's because these math problems won't help me with my taxes, and these chemistry equations won't help me find a house, and this US history project won't help me with my future that I don't even know what holds. Our students are being taught things that our grandparents were taught, but when we look around, times are not like they were when our grandparents were in school. The school system needs to adapt and change just like society so that it can stop looking like a fool. Schools say they're teaching their kids economics and sexual consent, but these assignments are not engaging. These assignments teach kids to bullshit their way through school, not sit down and listen to a lecture and educate themselves and remember its importance. We have turned school into a competition to see who's the best memorizer, and the grand prize is a life full of stress and debt. A kid's intelligence should not be measured by numbers. A student's intelligence should not be compromised because quizzes make them feel like they will never measure up to their peers. These tests don't even matter when we all forget the content anyways, and we're already moving on to that next chapter in these boring books, getting material shoved down our throats when we couldn't even remember the answers to that last test we just took. Half of the questions on the test we didn't even discuss as a class. We're so focused on sitting behind a desk and working, but what about living? Not just surviving from class to class, but truly experiencing life outside of these prison-like walls. We are told that we are all individuals and unique, but then get forced to sit down and take standardized tests. We focus on what Adam can do compared to Cindy, but this thinking is so unrealistic when even twins with identical DNA don't even think the same. Don't even get me started on the violence we see in schools. Harassment, bullying, and guns fill the halls. How many suicides is it going to take? You tell me to reach out and talk about my feelings, but then invalidate my feelings because I'm too young to know what's really going on. 44,000 Americans die by suicide each year. Out of those 44,000, 8 out of 10 give some sort of warning sign. That's 35,200 times a year we are given a sign, and yet we still don't feel inclined to take this problem seriously in our schools. How many bullets is it going to take? I shouldn't be scared to walk down the halls of a place that you tell me is supposed to be fun. 78% of mass school shooters share some sort of plan that they have beforehand, yet we are still to sit down and make changes within and around our schools. We're so focused on materialistic things, we don't stop and think. Think about the human who's standing right in front of us, and so much pain is overflowing like the dishes in the sink. Do we ever stop and wonder why that is? It's obvious we have a mental health issue, but all we do is sit them down and say, it's okay, here's a tissue. Schools teach our kids how to think, not what to think. Understanding why we're learning something is so much more valuable than being told, because I said so. But that's just how it is, because you're the adult and I'm the kid, right? We scare kids into not wanting to ask questions and understand their teachers' dictations. Why do we generalize everything when life is so unfathomably circumstantial? Why should I suffer because I'm not who you want me to be? I raise my hand to speak, but then you tell me I'm too much. So then when I don't want to speak, you tell me I'm not involved enough, leaving me stuck in the middle, making this journey of finding who I am really tough. All of this is not to say that education isn't important, because it is. But what we are being taught for 12 or more years is where the real importance lies. The world is not black and white. We're never going to make change if we are just stuck focusing on this or that. We need to be able to sit down and have a conversation and put no one to blame. This isn't the 1900s anymore. Small-minded people are very lame. And generalizing people who are nowhere near the same is a whole problem in itself. I realize that these are my thoughts and opinions, but I think it's important to sit down and have this conversation with those around you, because you never know what change you will see.